Hey everybody, it's Romania Black. So, I'm going to be uploading this on here. My other YouTube channel is sadly taken down, so I'm slowly in the process of getting a new channel up. I guess we're just going to start 2021 with something new, but I'm going to post this on Patreon and then YouTube as well. But man, it's been a rough week at work. All this crap with YouTube's been going on, and so you know what? I need something happy. And it seems like we're at the climax episode of Haikyuu, so why not? Why not? Monsters Ball. I've got lots of spoilery thoughts that I'm not going to say, but all I'm going to say is that these last several episodes have been Haikyuu when it's at its best. When the writing comes together, the animation works, there's the emotional tug. Like, these characters that we've been with for 4 seasons are up against their toughest opponent yet. And it's anybody's game at this point. It's been going back and forth. You know it's going to be a long set, and it's the final set, and it's this episode and the next episode are the last ones of the season. So you're just like, it's everything I want out of Haikyuu, and these last couple episodes have been just wonderful. So I'm really excited for this episode. I hope y'all are too. But with that being said, we are just going to dive into this episode because the hype is real, and I've not been on Twitter. I've posted a few reaction links on Twitter, and that's been it. I've not scrolled. I've not looked at reactions, anything, because I don't want to be spoiled. I want to absorb this episode for all its... this episode next week's... We've waited this long for Haikyuu to come back, and now it's almost done for the season. It's crazy to believe, but I'm going to just soak this episode in, and I hope you all enjoy it. Please feel free to comment down below, but man, the Haikyuu hype is real, and I'm so happy. So anyway, with that being said, we are going to start this reaction to episode 24 of Haikyuu, Monsters Ball, here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Oh, so it's over. We did it. We survived Inarizaki versus Karasuno. Man, this whole final set has been insane in terms of just the intensity and the struggle and everything involved with it. It's just been so wild. And man, my dog is like, please throw this ball. There's so many spoiler things to talk about, but just this match, Inarizaki proving to be just tenacious. I think that's the big thing. Inarizaki had a lot of excellent players on their team. Obviously, Atsumu stands out because he's the genius setter. And Aran stands out as one of the top spikers. And then there's Osamu and Suna. And then Kita comes in. And so that you've got your main crew here. But I would say it's not like with Shiro Torizawa, where it's mainly like Tendo and Ushijima. They're like the big main players on that team. And then there was Goshiki, obviously. Or, with Seijo, with Abajosai, you have Oikawa and you have Iwaizumi, and then Mad Dog was the double-edged sword. And so you had like key players that all stood out. But in Inarizaki, they all stand out to an extent, and they're all really good. And so it's like you have a whole team of really talented players, and because they're all really talented, they don't really stand out as much, with the exception of like Osamu and Atsumu and then Aran. But oh my gosh, I love that the curse of speed has been Karasuno, because Karasuno has been all about offense, and it's this kind of symbolic thing that Shoyo is fast, and he can jump really high, and he can move really quickly, and he's always relied on speed as an asset in addition to his jumping ability, and that speed allows him to do the quick and do all of that. And so that's always been a running thing with this show, that Shoyo is this ray of sunshine. He's just quick and nimble and instantly uplifting. And this match has challenged that, because it's like, no, speed is not everything. It's a curse. We've established way back in season 1 that it was a curse. And it came back here, only now we're seeing it from the other perspective. It started to be on Karasuno, like towards the end there. I love that notion when Kageyama looks back and he's drenched in sweat, and I love the visual of the screen slowly getting darker and darker, and it's almost like you're passing out. and it's that speed is choking you, like it's going to strangle you if you don't slow down. And then Hinata, taking a page from the ball boy arc, is like, let's just take it easy. I got it. Let's breathe for a second. And they all just do that. Like, that was such a great moment. That was so good. Just that moment of them breathing and being like, okay, now let's do this. And that's just, I will rave and rave to the end of days about the ball boy progression with Hinata, because that was just amazing. And then at the end, Inarizaki gets that taste of speed, and Atsumu, and they kind of foreshadow it a little bit to us, because the coach is like, man, Atsumu usually likes to experiment and play with new toys. Like, he likes to try new techniques out, like on the spot. And I've done a post on Tumblr about this, but a lot of people compare Atsumu to Oikawa. I think Atsumu and Oikawa are inverses of each other, because Oikawa would not try a new move like that on the court. No, he would not. He'd be like, we need to perfect it first. We need to practice it and make sure it's in sync with all the teammates, and then we'll use it. Like, he would have that calculated decision. Whereas Atsumu's like, no, let's try it right now. Let's do it. And Osamu, being his twin brother, is the one that's like, okay, sure, yeah, let's go. So I think that there's a lot of differences between those two and a lot of similarities, but that's one of the big differences I noticed between them. I'm like, okay, well, if it was Oikawa, he would not have just instantly been like, let's do the quick. He would have gone with a more calculated, tried and true method. Whereas Atsumu's like, nah, no better time like now, right? Who needs the memories? And in this case, it's like, that technique's not been perfected. Maybe you should have thought about that a little bit before you did it, but it would have worked, except... And I like that when Kageyama and Hinata go up to block it, we get the preview and the scene of all of Karasuno's members, but we don't see them. We see Daichi reacting, we see Asahi reacting, we see Tsukishima reacting and Tanaka reacting, but we don't see Kageyama and Hinata. And then right there at the end, they block it. And it's like, oh. It's like, of all people that know how double-edged that quick is, it's Kageyama and Hinata. And Sugawara. I liked this episode too, because we had the third years coming in clutch at the end to support and reflect on their underclassmen. Because Daichi helping out Tsukishima making such strides. Like, as a player, this guy didn't care a lick about volleyball 3 seasons ago, and now he's like actively like reaching out, trying to get the ball, and Daichi's like, I got you, and swoops in to help him. So you got that with the third year. Asahi reflecting on, he's like, I love getting these sets from Kageyama, but I am envious and fearful for the first years that come next. Because if you think about it, next year, Tanaka and Nishinoya are going to be third years. And Tsukishima and Yamaguchi and Kageyama and Hinata are all going to be second years. And this new batch of first years, can you imagine coming onto the court with this conglomerate without Sugawara and Daichi and Asahi? Like the fact that Tanaka and Nishinoya and Inoshita have to step up and become the upperclassmen, it's like, oh no. Like, I would be fearful too, Asahi. I would be fearful too. And then Sugawara just being like, man, when I first met you, Hinata, all you wanted to do is just hit the ball. And now you're receiving, you're making plays that are not just about just attack. It's about thinking and supporting and being on the defense. And it's so good. It's so good. But I'm so happy that our Karasuno boys, and they've knocked out the second seed in the whole tournament. Tachiyama was first. Sakusa's team was the first seed, and these guys were second. So, I mean, I'm imagining that when we pick up the next episode, it's just going to be such an upset. Like, the reporters, the Olympic Committee guys, the announcers, everybody's going to be going crazy because they're going to be like, we just witnessed a major upset. This little team from Miyagi just knocked out the number 2 seed from Inter High. Just like that. It's like, oh, so good. So good. But I want to talk about a couple spoilers. So I'm so sad that Haikyuu is ending next episode. I feel like these last 5 episodes, we've just gotten back in the groove, and it feels so fresh. And now it's like, now we gotta sit here and wait till the next season. But I've got some spoilers I want to talk about, but please feel free to comment down below. But man, I'm so happy our Sunshine Boys have won. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this reaction. Please feel free to comment down below. I'm going to be re-uploading on YouTube the old Haikyuu reactions over the next couple weeks now that I'm going to be on break, so I'll have more time to do it. But in the meantime, please stay safe, have a great week, and take care. And spoiler time! Spoiler time, spoiler time, spoiler time. I don't have any screen caps from the manga this week to show because it's pretty much, it covered almost 5 chapters, which is crazy to think about in this episode. But honestly, they didn't leave anything out. Most of these chapters were all just the action shots. There were a lot of double spreads that Furudate did, especially of Tsukishima when he's like, I'm leaving this up to you, man. And Hinata's in the back receiving the ball. Like, that was a big double spread. The block at the end. The Monsters Ball chapters where this whole thing ends off at. And it's so good. The chapter's so good. You should just go read from chapters 286 to 290. They left a few pages off of 290, and I think that was just Atsumu and Samu kind of looking at each other being like, we kind of overdid it there at the end, didn't we? And he's like, we did. That's the one thing I like about Inarizaki. They don't get insanely upset. Like Shiratorizawa, when they leave their match, they're like crying their eyes out. Alba Josai's crying their eyes out when they lose. Inarizaki is relatively calm leaving this match because I think they're like, man, we played a damn good game and we just didn't do it. But then at the end, next episode, we're going to see Kita being like, I love my team and I want them to be proud and I want to be proud of them, and they're going to be like, we love you, Kita. And that's when they break down. It's like when their captain like says he's going to leave them, they're like, bleh. And of course Iran leaves them too because Iran's a third year. It's happening next episode, guys. It's happening. One of my moments I've been waiting for. This episode is very much about Shoyo, Atsumu, and Kageyama. Tobio, Atsumu, and Shoyo. That is what this episode is mainly about. I mean, yes, Tsukishima is a damn good blocker, and he had his moment. He had 2 big moments. He had his moment where he set that spike up to go straight to Hinata, and he was relying on him, which the fact that Tsukishima is relying on Hinata, mwah, so good. But not only that, but then Tsukishima reaching for that ball. Man, who needs the memories? When he looked at that banner and smiled, it was like, you know, my dog. The big thing, though, for me, if we're talking about Tsukishima, is this episode just made me think about later down the road when he's playing for the Sendai Frogs. It's like, dude, you just keep moving forward, and the fact that he's so tenacious with it all, it's like, which I can't wait till we get to the next couple seasons, because the Nekoma match and then Kamamedai, there's some amazing Tsukishima moments, and the Tsukishima stands are going to flip out with Nekoma's match. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be so good. So good! All the Tsukishima moments in the next season are going to be amazing. But yeah, this main match, this episode was Tobio, Atsumu, and Shoyo. Like, Shoyo, I know I've praised him on the Ball Boy arc, but I mean, it's just cemented, and it's just cemented. Like, this is the moment where he gets in the defense mode. But Atsumu and Tobio, Kageyama and Mia, man, that glance was so perfectly adapted from the manga, where Kageyama does the setter up and he just has the most smug Kageyama look like, yeah, I just did that. And Atsumu's like, oh, you bitch, you did not. It's like, because the best part about the end of this match is I remember reading this being like, man, I got to really like some of them Inarizaki guys. I really liked Iran. I really liked Atsumu. It's a shame we'll never see them again. It's a shame we'll never see them again. And, you know, looking back, I'm like, because it's coming next episode. Atsumu's going to make the prophecy. And I'm really curious how the anime onlys are going to react to him saying, one day I'm going to set for you. I'm wondering if they're going to be like, wait, what? Because I was like that. I was like, oh, okay. What are we going to do with this for Date? And then, a feast we have been delivered, is all I'm going to say. Because that, I'm ready for it. Because Atsumu has realized in this match, he's like, Shoyo, you're the spiker that I want. You like my brother, have the hunger. And I know my brother is not going to want to play volleyball anymore after all this. Because we find that out later, that he doesn't want to play volleyball post-high school. And he's thinking, one day, Shoyo, you need to be on the team with me. And I'm gonna give you some good sets. And that he does. Like, oh, and the part where he was like, my condolences, Tobio-kun, and Asam was like, you okay over there? And he's like, I'm trying to pine. Leave me alone. Oh, it's so good. Like, the seeds have been planted, y'all, and it's just the Atsuhina shipping is going to start from this point on, and I can't wait. I'm a multi-shipper with Shoyo, because Shoyo can be shipped with pretty much any setter in this whole series. But I mean, Atsumu and Tobio are like the two main ones, and Kenma. So it's like, yeah. I'm just over the moon. Over the moon. The animation got a little wonky. I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna throw it out there. I'm not trying to douse the mood, but it was a little wonky for a few panels. Just gonna say it. But as far as being faithful to the manga during the last part of that episode, especially the part with with Kita's eyes staring at the ball dropping and all of that, like that was pretty much spot on. And just, I think that this match has been so much different than any other Haikyuu match in that it was so fast. The curse of speed. This whole season's gone by so fast, curse of speed. This whole match has gone by so fast, curse of speed. Even though it's lasted a whole half a season. But that's really it. Because, you know, with our other matches like Shiratorizawa and Alba Josai and Date Tech, it seemed like you got to kind of see where the end was happening. You're like, okay, we're in the last point of the game. This is it. But with this match, it was going by so quickly that you just had to keep up. You're just like, oh, And that's how it felt the last episode, and that's how it felt this episode. So, man, just so good. I'm like on an adrenaline high. I'm like, so darn good. Y'all. Y'all might see me freak out from here on in. Because I'll be honest, and I said this last episode, I'll say it here, I like the Nekoma match. I've not reread it, so I need to go back and see it. But I know that there's some really good Tsukishima moments in it. And then between Shoyo and Kenma. Kamamedai. I don't remember much of Kamamedai. That's probably the match I remember the least. But I think the trauma of Chapter 365 is so heavy on me that I'm like, it just blocked out most memories. I remember a big Tsukishima moment from the match with Kamamedai. And that I'm excited for. Probably next episode we'll talk about, I want to see how many chapters they cover in the next episode, because honestly, I want to see how many they get through next time, and that's going to kind of determine where we go to from here. I've tried to map out how the next season could go. I honestly think they could do Haikyuu in 2 more seasons. They could finish it in 2 more seasons. I really think they could finish the whole series in 2 seasons. Which is fine. You know, I don't like shows that just drag out with filler needlessly. I think they could do 2 25-season episode. They could do a 25-season episode and cover everything kind of leading up to Rio. And then the last season, if they did like Shiratorizawa and made it 10 episodes and covered all of that, I think they could do it. But we'll talk next episode about that. We'll talk about the breakdown then. But in the meantime, I hope you all like this reaction. I'm like on such an adrenaline high from that I feel like I'm rambling. But please feel free to comment down below. Please tag spoilers for the anime onlys. But, y'all. So good. So good. But in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful week. Stay safe. Take care. And I'll be back soon with the final episode of Season 4 of Haikyuu. Bye.